अपना course. Get smart. Get ahead.
This module will talk about the retail payments. What are the topics that we are going to discuss under retail payments? First we will see what is a retail payment, and then we'll see what are the types of retail payments, and then we'll see what is the future of the retail payment. We'll go to the introduction. Basically, retail payment is a small value payment. For example, a small trader selling goods for 10 rupees, 20 rupees or something like that. So, small value transactions. Those are called as retail payments. What is the maximum value of a retail payment? Usually, if it's less than $1 million, we categorize them as retail payments. Basically, it's done by the individuals for the routine transactions like cash deposits, cash withdrawals, and there could be a company, a small company, where they will have probably 10 or 15 employees. So, what they will do is they make salary payments to the employees for those 10, 25 employees. So, that is also categorized as a retail payment. And then they might make cash payment to their vendors. So, that is another form of retail payment. And the funds transfers and even loan payments. You are taking a loan and you are supposed to pay the loan for every month. So, that is also categorized as a retail payment. Retail payments are usually done by individuals for their routine transactions. Now we'll see what are the types of retail payments. We can categorize the retail payments as follows: cash payments, non-cash payments. Cash payment is most common mode of retail payment. It is the most preferred payment type, and also the transaction is completed immediately. For example, a trader, if you go and give him a check or some other instrument, he might not feel comfortable. Only when you make a cash payment, he is satisfied that he has got the money for the transaction. So there's instant money for the goods, and they need not even follow up with the buyers for the payment. For example, the buyer goes to the shop and he makes the transaction, and if he is giving a check, and later the trader finds out that the check is dishonored, again he needs to follow up with the buyer for the payment. So that doesn't happen. When you make a cash payment, it is settled then and there. So it is a preferred form of payment for most of the people today. Next one is the non-cash payments. It comprises of all the payment types in which cash is not involved, and cash always is a risk. See, for example, it can be stolen by somebody, it can be taken by somebody, or you can even miss it when you travel. So, non-cash payments are actually non-risky payments, and it's also become an effective method of making payments. Let's see what are the different types of non-cash payments. One is the check payments. So, as I said earlier, carrying cash is always a risky proposition. So, having checks will eliminate the disadvantage of cash payments. And it can also give a lot of convenience, as it can be carried to various places or can be sent by mail. For example, I need to send some money to a person. I can actually send the check through mail. So even if the check gets lost, I can go to the bank and I can give a stop payment, and the check cannot be used by other person. And also if it's a crossed check, it can be used only by the person to whom it is intended. So whoever is written as payee only can go there to the bank and then take the payment. So this is not the case with cash. When you send the cash by mail, it can get lost. So check is basically very convenient and very safe mode of making a payment. And the volume of check payments have definitely increased manifold during the years. Initially, people in the city were using the checks, and people in the cities and probably people in the villages, they were not very satisfied with the check payment. But today, most of the village people also, they are using check payments. And checks are basically processed in a clearing house and which is managed by the central bank of a country. And all the banks in the country, they have accounts with the central bank through which the clearing settlement happens. So there are multiple transactions, multiple check transactions happens. At the end of the day, the settlement happens. So that is facilitated by all the banks having account with the central bank. And check clearing process is also defined under the Negotiable Instruments Act. The next one is the electronic transfer. So electronic transfer is the transfer that is made electronically without any physical instrument. So electronic funds transfer allows transfer of funds via electronic gateways which can be accessed using internet, computer or smartphones. So either you can go to an internet parlor and then access the account and then make the transfer, or you can sit at home and then do the transfer, or you can even use a smartphone and do the transfers. So funds can be instantly transferred from one account to another, either within the same bank or a different bank network at any given time. See, if I need to make a payment to my friend, he can have account in my same bank or he can have account in a different bank. So if my friend has an account in the same bank, the transfer can be done instantly. And in today's scenario, even if the friend has an account in a different bank, the transfer will happen instantly. So the technology has facilitated this. Okay, now let's see further down what are the various types of electronic transfers. The most commonly used type of electronic transfers is called the NEFT, which is called the National Electronic Funds Transfer. So this is used nationwide. All the banks who are having branches and who are having various customers, they are using NEFT facility and it's provided to the customer. So this facility allows the customer to electronically transfer from their bank account to any account of the same bank or to any other bank network. So basically, there are two parties involved. There's a transferring bank and a destination bank. I'll give you an example. Bank A is where I have my account. I need to transfer some money to my father who is having an account in Bank B. So Bank A is called the transferring bank and Bank B is called the destination bank. So I go to the bank personally, fill up an application form, or I sit at home using my internet or using my mobile. I debit my account and then authorize the bank, that is the transferring bank, to make the transfer. And the transferring bank makes the transfer and the money goes to the destination bank. And in the instructions, I clearly mentioned my father's account number, the bank, the branch details and the IFSC code, all those details, which ensures that the particulars are correct. And once the funds are received from the transferring bank to the destination bank verifies the details and transfers the money to my father's account. So NEFT is the most preferred form of payment that is made in the country. And any sum of money can be transferred. It could be 100 rupees, it could be 1 lakh rupees. So any sum of money can be transferred. And what I think is the transactions are settled in batches. So RBI defines a time slot, and depending on the time slot, the transactions happen. For example, I give the instruction to the bank in the morning 9 o'clock. So the funds will be transferred in the first batch. But if I give instructions to the bank at 3 o'clock, the next batch will be at 4 p.m. So the funds will be transferred only at 4 p.m. The next one is the RTGS. It's a real-time gross settlement. So the name itself says that it's a real-time gross settlement. So this is a real-time transfer system which facilitates transfer of funds from one bank to another bank in a real-time or on a gross basis. So basically here the transaction is not put on waiting list, it is cleared instantly. But only condition here is the minimum value that you can transfer in RTGS is 2 lakhs and above. However, there is no upper limit on the amount that can be transacted. So basically this is helpful for a trader. Traders will be usually handling lakhs and lakhs of money on a daily basis. A trader in Chennai will be required to make a payment to a trader in Mumbai. You can simply use this RTGS system and then transfer that money to the trader in Mumbai. The third type of payment system is the immediate payment system, which is called IMS. So that is the latest development. Here the funds transfer can happen 24/7. So initially the bank was giving check facility, then they gave funds transfer facility, electronic funds transfer, and then NEFT was happening in batches, and then RTGS is where it will happen instantly, but the customer wants the next solution. I want the funds to be transferred instantly, 24/7. Irrespective of the clearing house timings or the batch timings, I want the transfer to happen 24/7. So IMS facilitates that transfer. So IMS service, it features a secure transfer gateway, and it also gives an immediate confirmation on the fulfilled orders. So you can use your internet banking or mobile banking and then use the IMS service, and then the funds will be instantly transferred in a secured gateway. The next one is the direct debit. So a customer can take a loan from a bank, he can take an insurance policy, he needs to pay premium for that, and he also needs to make telephone bill payment and electricity bill payment. So every month it will be really a headache for the customer to remember all the dates. See, for example, a loan EMI. The bank will say that you need to make the payment of the EMI every 10th. So the customer might be very busy at his office, or personally he might be very busy. So what he will do is he will forget that payment. So if he forgets that month's payment, bank will levy a penalty. So unnecessarily a customer will be paying additional charges. So to avoid all these confusions, direct debit has come into picture, wherein the customer gives the instruction to the bank and to the housing loan company that is going to avail direct debit, and every month the institution, the housing loan financial institution, will give instruction to the bank that the customer's payment is due, and the bank will debit the customer. It will not even ask the customer every month. It is already got authorization from the customer that this account can be debited. So the bank will take that authorization and it will debit the account and transfer the funds to the housing loan company. So here all the people are happy. The customer is happy, the bank is happy, and the housing loan company is also happy. And it automatically happens every month. So the customer need not be worried about making the payment on time. Next one is the payment cards. So every time carrying cash or checks is risky. Even if you say check is a very safe instrument, if you don't cross the check and if it's a bearer instrument, anybody can go to the bank and then put self or bearer and then withdraw any amount of money in the account. The checks are also a risk to an extent. And other thing is, even to avoid that, you can give stop payment, but if you forget to give stop payment, the check can be misused. So cash and checks have their own limitations. So to avoid those limitations, the other form of payment is called the payment cards. So the payment cards, they include the credit cards, debit cards, and the prepaid instruments. So these cards have multiple security features which ensure that the card cannot be misused. So first one is the debit card. Debit card is basically you have an account with the bank, and based on the account with the bank they issue a debit card. So only if you have balance in your account, the debit card will be used to make the payment. For example, if you are having 1 lakh rupees in your account, you can use a debit card up to 1 lakh. If you cannot make a debit card transaction for 2 lakhs. So customers wanted another solution. See, I don't have money right now, but definitely I'll be able to make the payment next month. So what is the option left? So then banks came with a solution. Okay, I'll offer you a credit card. Credit card is where I give you a limit. Based on the limit, you can use the card to make payment to the person, and next month I'll send you a statement. You see the statement and then make the payment to me. If you delay in make the payment, I will be charging you. That's what bank says. So this offers some amount of flexibility to the customer. The customer probably normally is a salary person, but on a particular month there will be some occasion where he needs to spend some money for any religious purpose or for any auspicious occasion. So he can actually use the credit card to make the transaction, and next month he can repay that back. So this is actually helping customers in different ways. Debit card is another one and credit card is another one, and you can even spend money and take a prepaid payment instrument so that it's safe. You can just take it everywhere, anywhere, and then do the transaction. And now these cards are also being misused. A lot of people have complained to the bank that these cards have been misused by other people. So they are coming out with multiple security features. Now you see a chip in your card, and earlier you can take a debit or credit card and then use it in a POS machine. But today, when you use a credit card or a debit card, they will ask you for your PIN number. So even if, for example, I find a debit card at the road, I take that card and then I go to an establishment, and if I want to misuse it, it will ask me for the PIN number. Definitely I will not know the PIN number. So in that case, I will not be able to misuse the card. So a lot of security features have been introduced by the banks just to ensure that the customer gets the maximum benefit, and this also ensures that the card cannot be misused. Next one is the POS terminal. So traders, though they prefer cash, after some time they'll be feeling very inconvenient handling cash. See, for example, in a day, lakhs and lakhs of transactions happen at the store. So every time it will be difficult for carrying that cash and depositing it in the bank. See, even that physical cash has to be deposited in a bank. So they need to carry it to a bank. And there is a lot of risk involved and a lot of time involved. So POS terminals are in fact boon for the traders. It actually increases their business. See, for example, I forgot to withdraw money in the ATM. I can take my debit card and do a transaction in the POS. And it's all regulated. So even if you later feel that there is some issue in the transaction, or if you feel that your card has been used in any POS machine without your knowledge, you can dispute the transaction. You can call your bank and then say that your card has been misused. The bank will go back and they will check the authenticity of the transaction, and if the transaction is not a genuine transaction, it will cancel the transaction and the money will be refunded to your account. So customers, is very convenient for them. So they can use this POS for making payment to the traders. Anytime money, that is ATM. ATM, from the day it started till date, it's becoming a very customer friendly proposition. So night a customer wants to withdraw money, the bank and the branch will be closed, or on a Sunday. So there are a lot of Sunday working branches now, but earlier there were branches which were closed on all Sundays. So what will happen? There is an emergency, you need money. Where will you go? Your friend is out of station. So ATM facilitates that you can use it for withdrawing money. As large number of cash transactions have increased, ATM saves a lot of money, time and effort. When I say money, see, for example, you need to travel to the bank the next day, and it will take a lot of time, and you need to pay for the cab fare and all those things. So, but ATM can be anywhere. See, if you are having an account with a bank A, it's not that you will have to go to that particular branch ATM. You can go to any branch in India, then the ATM might be your next street. So it saves a lot of money and effort, and it also saves time for the bank staff. Think of all these customers going to the bank the next day and making transactions. So the bank staff will not be able to go home. So there will be daily thousands of transactions which are avoided by ATM. The ATM is very useful way of making transactions. Next comes the money orders and the postal orders. So this form of payment is very popular in the rural area. So customers will be a bit hesitant. In the rural area, people are not very educated. So they will not be very comfortable in using a debit card or a prepaid card or a mobile banking. So what they do is they use money order. They want to transfer funds. What they do? They go to a post office. They fill up a money order form and then give it to the postmaster, and the funds are actually handled by between the branches, post office branches, and the money is given to the other person personally. The postman goes personally to the other person and then hands over the cash. So this is most preferred form of payment in rural areas. Next comes the internet, mobile and phone banking. So customer was initially using cash and check, and then came the ATM and then POS machine. So what is the next step? Next step is the internet, mobile and phone banking. So customers were so much demanding, and they had a lot of demands. So they said that, okay, why should I come to the bank, or why should I come to the ATM? How do we avoid it? So in this case, it came the internet, mobile and phone banking is a boon where the technology is used by the customers to perform banking transactions wherever they are and at 24/7. For example, if I have an account in Chennai and I travel to New York, I want to make an urgent funds transfer to my father. I can just sit in New York and make the funds transfer. I need not wait for the time to come when I need to travel to Chennai and then make the transaction. So this internet banking and the mobile and phone banking is so convenient where the customers need not wait for the bank or the branch or anything, and they can perform banking transactions anytime.
Apna course. Get smart. Get ahead.